Now we may disagree on this point. Do you need a website right when you start your business? Welcome to Vendtelligence. This podcast is sponsored by Kiosoft. On today's episode, what you actually need to start a vending machine business in Canada. Let's get Vendtelligent.
This is crazy. Like, we got another episode going, and we got the streak running. This is great.
Yeah.
How was your day? How was your drive-in? How was your weekend?
Yeah. Well, the drive-in was super chill, as you know. My weekend was interesting. I ended up at an MLM pyramid scheme meeting. Yeah, I got conned into going to the meeting. Suffice it to say, I will not be investing my money with that company. I'm not gonna say the company, but anyways, there's an hour of my life I'm never gonna get back.
You should charge them.
I know. I should charge them. And you know what's even worse is that the coffee was terrible too.
Oh man,
yeah.
Did they even order Tim Hortons coffee?
Yeah, there was Tim Hortons, but by the time I got to it, I had to put Splenda in it, and they didn't have any milk, and yeah, it was not a good day for me. The rest of the weekend was fine though. I got to go to College Royal at University of Guelph.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a nice milkshake. It was super chill.
Nice. Well, let that company that tried to recruit you know if they have any more meetings. Yeah. Since they have terrible coffee, I operate a coffee machine.
Yeah.
So we could implement that coffee machine in their establishment.
Yeah.
And then there we go.
Actually, funny enough, I did mention it. And that was kind of my ulterior motive for going to the meeting anyways. I was like, you know what? They're opening up a new office. Let me see if they have any coffee service, which they didn't.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my leaving pitch there, was to, let's get some coffee service in here. So we'll see how it goes.
So that's it. That's good.
Pyramid schemes need coffee too, right?
Right. Everybody needs coffee. We don't discriminate against locations.
Yeah.
We don't discriminate against the businesses.
Yeah.
If they need the coffee, they need the vending services. Yeah. We're here to help.
Yeah.
Right. And that's all about it.
Yeah.
And in today's episode, we're gonna tell the audience. In today's episode, we're actually gonna give them information what they need to start a vending business.
Yeah, for sure. So.
Transform your vending experience with Kiosoft's all-in-one solutions. From compact to full-size machines, we have the ideal solution for every need. Every machine comes equipped with our Ultra Series payment readers, offering versatile payment options, a sleek LCD touchscreen display, and effortless integration. Along with Kiosoft's back-end management system, you get remote inventory tracking, real-time data analytics, comprehensive reporting, and much more, all from a single platform. Check it out.
So talking about that pyramid scheme, right? And that business meeting you went to, we're looking for a niche. What kind of niches should you attack to start a vending company?
Yeah.
Right? Some of the niches, for example, I know we're talking about coffee right now, but some of the niches, for an example, are snack vending, specialty vending, etc. What's your take on starting with a niche?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Well, of course you need to kind of determine where you want to start first. I personally think that everybody should get started in snack and pop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because it's the simplest, and just to kind of get your feel for the industry, and then once you kind of understand how that works, then start to look at some of the other niches. The easiest place to pivot to after snack and pop is just to go to coffee.
Absolutely.
Because most snack and pop places need coffee, and that's just what you did as well, right?
Absolutely. It's like growing your business vertically, right? So when I started, obviously you start with the simple, right? Simplicity, snack and pop. Did snack and pop, and then those accounts would come back to me and say, hey, we need a coffee service. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got into coffee. Mm-hmm. Right? It's a great introduction and a great transition. And then once we get our feet wet, then we could go into specialty vending. Example, cotton candy, where we're in. And then from there, there's some other cool niches, right? So pizza
Yeah.
and etc. We could get into.
Yeah, I mean, I would say also kind of a natural progression from the snack and pop to the coffee is also to the micro markets as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of just a natural progression. You're really dealing with the similar type of products, so it won't be too difficult of a transition or anything like that. So that's kind of what I would recommend.
Yeah, absolutely. And just one thing like to keep in mind, micro markets. I feel like that's just a big beast,
Yeah.
right? As far as investment goes.
Yeah.
Gradually start. Like if you could start micro markets right away, do it. But it is quite of a hefty investment, but you will see your ROI in that.
For sure. So then kind of continuing, are there any like business licenses or anything that people need to get started in the vending industry, at least in Ontario?
When you're looking for like the simplicity as far as snack vending goes, you don't really need a license to start in our specific industry. When you're doing traditional vending, if you're looking at like maybe like fresh foods or any type of food specifically, then you would need a license.
You may need some like food handling certificate or something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you broaden your horizons to that.
For sure. And so then, do you think that when people are getting started, they should go to an incorporation or should they go to a sole proprietorship first as far as structuring their business?
It all depends on where you are in your life and your career. If you're doing this, so let me take a step back. If you're generating income from another career and this is strictly your side hustle.
Yeah, like if you have a full-time job.
Like if you have a full-time job, I would recommend incorporating. Yeah. Various reasons. Talk to an accountant about this. Don't just take my word. When you're incorporated, you could leave your revenue inside your corporation, so it doesn't impact your income taxes. Also, if this is your like solely your main income, then you could do sole proprietorship. But there's other pros and cons to it. So when you incorporate, obviously, if something does happen and if someone is wants to sue you or charge you for whatever reason, they go after the incorporation, and they don't go after any of your personal assets.
So I'm guessing you started with a corporation?
Yes. So personally speaking, I started with an incorporation. Based off of my life needs at the time. And I think just because where I have the vision of Conscious Cravens going, I wanted to stick with being incorporated. And that's the reason why I incorporated.
So what were the steps that you took to get your business incorporated?
So I actually did it online, and I sought consultation from a lawyer. Okay. At the end of the day, I just went to owner.
Yeah.
Owner.
That's what I did too. Yeah.
Right. I did get advice from a lawyer and etc. But I did go to owner.com, registered my business, made sure the business name was A-OK, everything was kosher. And then based off of that, I registered the business, made sure the name wasn't good. Conscious Cravens is A-OK, got the domain, and then off I went.
Yeah.
How did you do it?
Honestly, like exactly the same as you. At the time, this was a couple years ago, and we're not sponsored by Owner by any means, but it's just the simplest method to get your business incorporated, and it's the most cost effective. At the time when I did it, they were offering like a $300 rebate if you open an RBC checking account or something like that.
Same.
Yeah. And I was already banking with RBC, so it was kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
One thing I would recommend to people is that once you kind of start building out your business and if you end up getting into like different niches and different brands, kind of similar to you have Conscious Cravings and you have Quick Stop Vending. And for me, I have Venture Foods and Venture Group. And now we have Vendtelligence. It gets to be a lot of administrative and legal costs if you're incorporating multiple businesses. Absolutely. So one thing that I would recommend to people, and we're not accountants or financial advisors or anything, but just from personal experiences, get one incorporation, and then just use that one incorporation, but maybe get multiple bank accounts if you want to have multiple brands under that one corporation. Because then you're going to be saving a lot on like yearly legal fees and yearly accounting costs. And it's just going to make your life a little bit easier while still keeping things separate from a financial perspective. So, that's what I would recommend.
And again, like, I just want to hammer in, like, we are not accountants, right? I don't want, like, people going to be in the comments, well, I just did a sole proprietorship, et cetera, et cetera. Like, what? Like, I don't need to have a corporation. But, hey, man, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I guess another thing I'll add is that I had a client who originally had a sole proprietorship, and then he wanted to get a corporation. Mm-hmm. And so he wanted to convert his sole proprietorship into a corporation, but that was just going to be a lot more work than actually just creating a fully new corporation. Yeah. So if you start out with the sole proprietorship, you can convert it, but it kind of makes more sense to maybe just start with a sole proprietorship and then just get a separate corporation afterwards. Yeah. If you want to go the incorporation route, if you want to start off more inexpensively.
Yeah. And then there's holding accounts and the way when you start to scale or grow your business or your corporation, then you could, research different avenues. But like moving on, I want to touch on like some other needs. Yeah. Starting a business, a vending business in Canada. So I know like you have experience here, like researching and securing locations. Yeah. Like, what are your thoughts on that? And like, how should one go about doing that?
Sure. I know like we touched on this in a previous episode, so I don't want to hammer on it too much again. But the first place I think people should start is to start with their network. So if they know business owners, or even if they work at a place that doesn't have a vending machine or has poor service for their current vending machine, that's kind of the best place to start. And then there's multiple ways. I mean, you can cold call, you can walk up to businesses in person, so in-person cold calling. And then you can also use a broker or a locator like myself to kind of just save you the time and the effort. Like at the end of the day, a location is going to cost you money, whether it's time, whether it's money that you're spending on gas, whether it's the marketing material that you need to use to solicit the locations, or whether you're paying a broker or a locator. It's going to cost you money. So it's really at the end of the day, like how you're valuing your time and what you want to be spending your time on. And if you're comfortable with sales, I say go for it, Start knocking on doors and start trying to find your locations that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. And like targeting high traffic locations is key, but keep in mind conversion is very important. Yeah. I'm a firm believer conversion is more important than high traffic because I'll give you a rough example. When you look at high traffic, you could put your vending machine in a mall. It's going to see hundreds and thousands of people walk across that vending machine. But the conversion is going to be very low because of the competition around in that surrounding area of the mall. Now, if you go into an office that has high demand for a vending machine and that office only has 30 to 40 employees, that office will do a lot better than it being in a public mall. So that's something to keep in mind when you're looking for your machines. And also, when you're looking for these machines, what are some tools? And I know you touched on marketing. What are some tools that one could use to help? Like, would you say to the audience, business cards are something good to have?
When you're trying to get locations?
When you're trying to get locations, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think you definitely need marketing material. It's always nice to be able to hand something like physical to somebody, especially at the end of a meeting. So, business cards are good. Brochures are good. That's something that I would do. I would just like go to Staples and then just get them printed out on like nice glossy paper.
Yeah.
And, just kind of get like a simple design through Canva or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's definitely good to be able to hand somebody something and then, have them maybe like put it on their desk or something like that so that they remember you.
Yeah, and the professionalism too, right?
Yeah.
So when you hand someone a business card, it looks a lot more professional.
Yeah.
And that client, that customer will take you seriously and be like, oh, this person is serious about their business. With that being said, and speaking about solidifying the seriousness of your business, would you need a proposal, like a business proposal, when you're approaching and prospecting?
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the first things that a location will ask for is a proposal. And there's a couple key things that you need to have in your proposal. But I think that's something that we'll cover in more detail in either a later episode or some future material that we put out.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. Ava Water is an ultra refreshing relaxation drink that helps you chill, reset, and stay on top of your game. Sit back and relax.
So when it comes to collecting HST, this is like a lot of people ask this question a lot. How do I collect HST? When do I collect HST? So that's kind of something that I want to touch on as well. So for you, are you collecting HST now? If you are, I guess, what does that process look like? Is it, already in your prices? Do you add it on top? How does that work?
So I'll take a step back and I'll show you the holistic approach that I take. So when I price out my inventory, I price for gas, HST, and my time. In Ontario, we do not have to collect HST if your business is not generating 30K or over. So if you're generating less than 30K, you don't have to worry about HST. Currently, I'm collecting HST. It's in my price point when it comes.
You guys making money out here. Okay.
I'm just saying I collect HST. Right? I'm not saying like I'm making big bucks or anything, but I collect HST currently. It just makes things easier for me.
Yeah.
Because one thing I've noticed and one tip that I would give everybody out there that's watching or listening, it's easier to decrease your price, your product, versus increasing it. At certain locations, if you go to increase your product, even if it's by 5-10%, clients are always going to be like, oh man, this water was like $2. Now I have to pay $2.10 for this water. Although it's only 10 cents. They're going to
still stings.
It still stings and it does leave some sort of sour taste in their mouth.
Yeah.
Versus if I charge $2.50 for that water and I came down to $2.25, they're going to be like, oh man, like I'm glad you brought down that the price for the water and that decrease. But I would say charge up front for taxes and take that holistic approach when pricing out your inventory and your products.
Yeah, I think that's a major key because when you're going to your wholesaler, whether it be Costco or Wholesale Club or one of the other cash and carries, sometimes these products don't actually have HST on them. And whether they do or they don't have HST when you purchase them from your wholesaler is going to determine whether you need to pay that at the end of the year. Obviously, you need to speak to your accountant about that, but they will let you know. But as a rule of thumb, always include HST in your pricing.
Absolutely. That's something I do, something like a simple tip that I have for everybody out there. Always include HST. I always look at it when I price out my inventory. Simple. I go to the aisle, I look at the price divided by the number of units and times it by 2.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And then obviously I look at the market price, right? Convenience,
Gas stations,
etc., and other vending. But at the end of the day, I look at that, make my price, and make any adjustments or pivots that I need to make.
Okay.
All right.
So, sorry to cut you off. I have a question for you. Now we may disagree on this point. Do you need a website right when you start your business?
Transform your vending experience with Kiosoft's all-in-one solutions. From compact to full-size machines, we have the ideal solution for every need. Every machine comes equipped with our Ultra Series payment readers, offering versatile payment options, a sleek LCD touchscreen display, and effortless integration. Along with Kiosoft's backend management system, you get remote inventory tracking, real-time data analytics, comprehensive reporting, and much more, all from a single platform. Check it out.
I was able to grow and scale my business without that website. But on the flip side, it is very important to have a website. So I might be contradicting myself, but I do have a website now. It is important to have a website. Is it an absolute need for you to grow your business? No. I think the most important thing is when you start your business is start it. So just make sure you start.
I hear you. I think that you're an exception to the rule. Personally, I think that everybody should start at least with a one-page landing page. Okay. Just because it helps build your credibility, especially when you're looking at soliciting new locations for your business. If you get into the industry by purchasing an already operating business, okay, maybe it's not 100% necessary, but at the very least, as soon as you start soliciting locations, you need to have a website. I've seen it countless times with clients that I've been advising with starting their business. After the proposal, the next question that the location asks, do you have a website? And so, yeah, you can say some things like, oh, yeah, it's under development or something like that. But it just looks a lot better if you just have one already there that people can point to, even if it's just one page, just to show them, a little bit more than the proposal, who you are, what you stand for, and what you bring to the table.
I agree with you. The professionalism is there when you do have a website. You can maneuver without one. I would say, rule of thumb, within your first 90 to 120 days of opening the business, make sure that there is a plan to have that website launch. Yeah. I won't sit here and debate with you on that topic because that's something I did. But it is important to have a website. It does obviously make the brand look that much better. Yeah. But with that being said, I think those are some good points, and we'll take this time to wrap up this episode. Everybody out there, let us know in the comments, is it important to have a website during launch? Or what are some other things that we might have missed or might not have covered that you think is important for us to cover in your launch of your vending business? Thank you for tuning in to Vendtelligence. Thank you to our sponsors, Kiosoft and Ava Water. Subscribe to Vendtelligence wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media and the links below. Peace!